Peace. Happy New Year's, everybody tuning in. We got a special guest today, DJ Blaze. This is gonna be a dope interview. I've heard about her, DJing skills, so it's always fresh to get a female's point of view, how she got involved with hip hop. So let's just wait for Kaotic Blaze to get on. What's up, Richie? How was your New Year's, though, bro? That's tight, bro. Glad the good years. Hey,
What's up?
let me see if I can hear you.
Check.
Oh, I guess I didn't turn on my earphones.
It's all good.
Okay. All right, I think I got it going.
What's up?
Hey, how you
I'm
doing?
good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, I want to say Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year 2023. Crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah. What's going on the West Coast?
Basically just for me personally, I'm just really trying to keep these interviews consistent and just trying to move forward with my own clothing line. I have a clothing brand called Mikey-Ice TV, and I'm just really want to document, like the females like yourself that's been involved with hip hop since, and I'm just really trying to just like brand my name for just being like the guy that's really like to interview like the people that's involved with hip hop, especially like the females.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm here.
How about yourself? What's going on with you?
Good. This week has just been crazy. I've been blessed with just getting a lot of work, and I'll be heading to Miami on Wednesday for Dante's Hi-Fi, which is Miami's first listening or vinyl listening venue and bar, which Rich Medina is a curator of. So I'm just excited for that, and just doing my thing and keeping it going.
That's tight. Did you do anything for New Year's?
Yeah, I was at a venue called the Commission Beer Chamber here in Orlando. So that was dope. The venue itself, the owner is from New York. He's a big Wu-Tang head and just throwback hip hop.
Okay.
So I was definitely in my element, being able to play all the goodies and classics. So that was going on for New Year's Eve, and luckily I was able to have my daughter there and my family. So it was a family affair, so to speak.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get the name Kaotic Blaze?
Long story short, I gave it to myself because I was 16 years old and I was first introduced to breaking. And at the time, everybody had dope names, and I'm like, I need a dope name too. So
Right.
daydreaming in my English class, I would just think about myself and my dance, or how I dance, and what I wanted that persona to be. And I would write down a whole bunch of names, and people would tell me all the time, like, girl, you crazy, something like that, in relevance to just my sense of humor or whatnot. And then I started messing with that, and then being bringing like a fire energy, heat. So I was looking up for synonyms for that as well. And then long story short, came up with Kaotic Blaze, put the K in the front, made it one word, and boom.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's tight. So you was a B-girl first?
B-girl first. Started breaking.
Really?
Yeah. 99, 2000. And
That was a good year. Where at were you breaking?
I first started breaking in Florida. I'm from New York.
Miami?
No, in Tampa area. I'm in Orlando now, but in the Tampa area. So there
Okay.
was I want to give a shout out to Raul, aka Dolo. He had like a Zulu Nation out in Tampa. Skill Methods was out
Oh.
there as well. There's Tampa and Florida in the early 2000s, late 90s had a really good, robust scene. So I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate enough to be surrounded just by dope people. And then when I moved back to New York in 2001, I started just connecting with Break's crew. I went to King Uprock's practice and meeting other,
Ooh.
yeah. So I've been in the scene for a minute now. But yeah, what's up, Daddy Vintage? I'm seeing a couple of people pop up in the chat.
Yeah, you
But yeah,
can shout them out.
yeah.
Shout out
So it's
your
been,
peoples.
yeah,
Okay.
it's been quite a journey. But yeah, it started in Florida and then made its way back to New York, and then it progressed from there.
So, the Floor Angels are from Orlando, right?
Yeah, they're from Orlando.
Were you friends with Candy and them
Yeah,
too back then?
I was friends with Candy. I was more friends with Candy than anybody else in her crew, but Candy and I go back, and I just remember they had a very unique style. It was very kind of like
Yeah.
raver, kind of raver girl style. You just see their big hair, they're all cut up and
I
stuff.
remember that.
You're
Yeah.
like, yo, who are these chicks? But
Mm-hmm.
as intimidating as they were the most nicest, welcoming women I met even back in the day. And now 20 plus years later, I still have relationships with Candy and Cindy, and
Yeah.
Child of This Culture they're doing currently. So it's good to have that memory of us, all of us being really young and hungry and just, doing it for the culture. And then now as adults, as women, as mothers, as entrepreneurs, we're
Mm-hmm.
still involved in the community and still trying to make it an even better place for the women coming up after us.
So, Child of the Culture, are you a part of that too, or is that like
No,
Candy's
I'm
name?
not. I'm a member, but I'm not a part. I'm not a part of what they're doing. That's something totally separate. But I have partnered with them. We did an event here in Orlando last year, teamed up also with Break Free, where we hosted an event, and then we did an all-day workshop from some kids that are not from a really good area in town, but just exposed them to a whole day of programming, emceeing, breaking, DJing, and art classes for the whole day, in which we organized.
Oh, that's cool.
In partnership with Child of This Culture. So that was a really dope event last year. Mm-hmm.
So from the breaking, you made the transition into DJing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what made you want to get inspired, get into DJing? Because when I first seen it, I had bought one turntable and I bought a mixer, but I couldn't. I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't finish paying it off or something like that. But I wanted to get into DJing too. My first record was the Fat Boys Is Back.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, DJing, I mean, as a dancer, you're always surrounded by dope DJs. And then back in New York, myself and a collective I'm a part of is called Hard Body. It's all women. It's myself. It's Bongo Rock from Supreme Beings. And you have Lily and Ermac. There's just, all of us are really close friends. So we would always go out in our heels and our dresses, but then we would break or we would house or we would just dance. And people are like, yo, where these chicks come from? So after a while, we started developing our own parties in New York where we would have different themes and things going on. So at the time, I was more connected with the nightlight scene and being more the promoter and hooked up with the venues, where Bonnie was DJing. She first started DJing at the time. So she would DJ our parties. And she helped inspire me, kind of like, yo, I want to learn how to DJ too, because my pops used to DJ back in the day.
Oh, really?
A breaker, always surrounded by DJs, so it's like, I just need to invest and get my shit together. But then I was injured. I got injured. That's what really it boils down to. I got injured. I was dancing at the club. You do a James Brown split because you feel it loose, and then you get back up and you're like, yo.
What happened? Like, what you injure?
I pulled a muscle in my leg. So I walk out, I limped out the cypher, and I'm just like, yo, I think I really hurt myself. And then for about 6 months, I was very limited to any sort of lateral movement And in that time frame, I picked up DJing. My pops got me my first set of turntables. I already had some vinyl, so I was practicing with that. And then eventually, 6 months down the line, I was able to afford some of the digital stuff.
Okay.
And this was 13 years ago. So yeah, so 13 years of just embracing a DJ culture and the DJ lifestyle, and put dancing in the back burner because after I really started getting really deep into DJing, it just took over. I just the music in itself and being in that space is definitely different from dancing, but because of my dancing, I definitely am able to connect with music a little bit more differently, and able to guide a room, which is the DJ's number one responsibility, right? So yeah, now I'm still here.
That's cool. So you know about the original DJs from back in the day, like Jazzy Joyce and Spinderella and Wanda D, and oh my gosh, there's so many female DJs.
So many DJs, both male and female, especially the females that paved the way, where it was definitely a different time and space with DJing. Now DJs have it easier, straight up. If you're not spinning vinyl currently, you definitely have it easier. For instance, on Saturday for New Year's Eve, the venue doesn't have equipment, so I have to bring my equipment. And mind you, most places you don't have to log freaking turntables and the speakers and all that stuff. Mind you, I didn't even have to bring vinyl, but just the equipment portion. So imagine in the 80s, where if you want to rock a party, you need crates, and a crate itself could weigh 35 pounds roughly. Then your turntables, your speaker, your sound, like that's no joke. That's work. By the time you set up everything and you're ready to just spin, you're sweating because you were just, you just had a workout from loading all your equipment. But that's part of being a DJ as well. But yeah, I'm glad I learned the way that I did with vinyl, because I feel now, because I'm able to spin on vinyl, I'm definitely given a lot more opportunity, because now there is a specific lane for DJs that rock vinyl, or that could do both. And because I'm a lover of just the culture, I made it a point to give respect to those that came before me, to make sure I practice that craft as well. So, yeah.
Amazing, though. Amazing. I love that. How excited are you that hip hop turns 50 this year?
It's crazy. It's crazy. 50. And at the same time, it's very monumentous, just because, look, a half a century.
And everybody, and it's still thriving.
It's thriving globally. Breaking is going to be in the Olympics next year, so that's just another stage in which we could showcase what we do. But at the same time, there's always change with growth. So with that change, I just hope that the actual stories continue to be told, so that the pioneers and those that led the way and the circumstances in which hip hop started are known and not forgotten. Because that's a major part.
Yes, because it started with the DJs first.
Yeah. And why and where? Starting in the South Bronx with the strife and difficulty of life, and you have young people that took this art form and made it a form of self-expression to now be a global force that is really practiced in every country. You can't go to not one country, and even you go to Uganda, they have a breaking league in Uganda. You know what I'm saying?
They do, huh?
Like it's really telling of just the story of hip hop and where it started and where it's going, and how that being able to relate to the difficulties those kids were going through at that time, that's relative to people all over the world now in 2023 even, right?
Right.
So it's a very powerful thing. And I think that people that are with our practitioners in the culture have a big responsibility, right? Especially if they're doing it at a high level, to share their stories, to
Yes.
share other stories as well, and to just keep it moving so that the next coming up definitely have a good sense and foundation.
Yes. I think everything you said is extremely important, because that's the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to document today's times for the newer generation that are watching, because everybody pretty much on social media watches everybody what they do, like if they have a following,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like what you do, especially like your story needs to be told like in depth, you know, not just, oh, she's just a DJ, you know, like where did you start, like your heritage background. You're Dominican though, right? Am I right?
I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
My mom's from the Dominican Republic, and my dad's, he's Puerto Rican from the Bronx. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Me in a nutshell, so to speak.
Oh, that's so amazing though. Also too, like the first time I heard about you is when you was involved with Rocksteady Crew. I kind of want to see if you can maybe touch on a little bit of that. Like, how did you first get introduced to Rocksteady?
I mean, coming up in New York, you just know Rocksteady. I mean, besides just the history, but Legs was definitely a force in New York's breaking scene. And he was somewhat, you know, a couple years back, I don't know about now, but a couple years back, like the mayor within our community. So
yeah,
it's funny, back in the day, you would have people that would come out from different parts of the world and like, yo, that's crazy. Like, yo, that's Legs. Like, because we all had this camaraderie with him that, you know, he was just cool, down to earth and all that stuff. And then being in the New York scene, he would support other events and jams. And I met him, I think, at a Rocksteady event in the early 2000s, and I had a mohawk, and on the mic he was calling me punk rock, yo, B-girl punk rock, like as an inside joke. And then as time passed, you know, he would always support what Hard Body, my crew, was doing and everything. Oh, what's up, Breakbeat Lou? Yes, okay. He would support what we were doing, and then after a while, he had approached me about being a Rocksteady. He was definitely someone who believed in and saw something in me that I maybe didn't necessarily see at the time, because you know, I was dancing. I was always a social dancer, even as a kid. You know, you had these crazy parties at the house that mom and dad were doing, and then, you know, they want to see a girl dance. I'm like, come on, go dance, go show them that you dance. And then I'll dance and do something fun in the middle, and then that was it. But I always had, and it's kind of weird to even talk about it, almost like like you just look internally at yourself and have kind of like a doubt, or you don't really fully believe in yourself. But he was always one that was pushing me to always excel and do better. So with the DJing, he was like, yo, I feel like with the right guidance, like you're going to be unstoppable. Like that's basically what he said. But you need to finish college. He was like, finish college and, you know, do your thing. That got a kind of discussion, because I was already older, but I decided to go back to college after the injury. I was like, I'm injured. My dancing is basically put on hold. I got a shot in not being able to have the same amount of income as I was before, because doing those bar mitzvahs and those gigs was not happening with my leg hurt. Then fast forward 2013, I was approached to be in Rocksteady, and that was a long process in itself, because you have, you know, senior members like Wiggs and Fable and all these people that have to vet me, so to speak, and vote me in as a crew. So that was, you know, a process in itself. But yeah, in 2013, I was put down, and I was with the crew until 2020. So it was a good time, and I'm still, you know, cool with a lot of the members. We're still family. That was a good chapter in my life, and I learned a lot and was able to just grow and contribute even more in this hip hop culture.
Right. When Rocksteady first came back to the West Coast, it was like, I think it was like the summer of '91, you know. And I remember Zulu Gremlin, Doze, Crazy Legs, and they had came out to Cali though, and they went to this place called the Hip Hop Shop, you know. And when they had came out, they decided that they was going to start a West Coast chapter. And I remember everybody was excited. Like when Rocksteady came back, they just brought back the feeling of breaking, though, to be honest with you. I felt like when I seen Rocksteady, I was like, I wanted to be a part of Rocksteady. But then eventually I became Zulu. So I became Zulu in '94.
Okay.
You know, and I remember Zulu and Rocksteady were basically, they were like connected. If you was Zulu, you was Rocksteady, pretty much in the early '90s.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember seeing your pictures, and I used to think like, man, this is so dope. I would see you post. You have the Rocksteady shirt. To me, it just looked really hip hop.
Yeah. Hey, I
You
mean,
know?
definitely when you rock those colors, that name, that means something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something to be taken lightly. At least for myself. You know what I'm saying? I was the first female DJ.
Oh, first
You
female
know,
DJ?
for
Okay.
first female DJ put into Rocksteady. So like that was a lot of weight on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to make sure not only did I rep for myself and my own brand and who I am, but now I'm repping for Rocksteady. So, and even people outside of breaking, they know that name was like a Jeopardy question like a couple of years back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's known in pop culture. It definitely represents, you know, a collective in hip hop that is made of people that have contributed and have spent a lifetime working on their craft to the point that they're dope. And
Right.
for me to be associated and affiliated with that, it just speaks volumes. And I'm very happy of that chapter in my life.
Yeah.
Speak. And although you know the crew dissolved and and from what it was before and what it is now, I guess it's not the same. But you
Yeah.
know, we
I was gonna ask you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna ask you about that. Like, how does it feel to have like to be in the situation where it's like life after Rocksteady? Has things like slowed down for you, or do you think things have just kind of just went back to normal, or have you gotten more gigs, or you gotten lesser gigs?
I mean, to be honest, when I was in Rocksteady, I wasn't just gigs were just falling on my lap. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
okay.
shit. I wish. I mean, there would be certain gigs I would get because it's a Rocksteady thing, or we're all performing, and then I would perform as the DJ. But it wasn't like, oh, you're in Rocksteady, yo, take our money, go DJ. You know, it was definitely not like that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I would definitely say it stayed the same.
It stayed the
Because
same.
it
Yeah.
stayed the same, but I do make it a point to put in my own work. So regardless of who I'm, what crew, like now I basically run Dolo because
Right.
that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had, besides Rocksteady, like just experiences in the past. I'm not in my teens or 20s anymore, and I'm leaving my 30s as well. So I've learned over the years that sometimes it's good to just be by yourself, unless you're, you know, if you're fortunate enough to find a collective and a group that wholeheartedly believes in the fundamentals and the same mindset, integrity that you have, then that's great. But if not,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I'm a represent myself, and if you're down for that, then that's what you're getting when you book me. So
That's
yeah.
amazing though. Like I believe in that though too. Like basically you can still pioneer for yourself. Like you don't really have to be attached to like a a crew to, for you to excel. A lot of times people do excel once they leave the crew, you know, because I guess because you have your own mindset and you don't have to worry about like, like should I do this? You can just do it for yourself.
Yeah, but you know what too? I feel that when I was put down, that was made aware from the beginning as far as my thoughts and why I would even want to be a part of something like that. And just me as a person. I had relationships with many of the people in the crew already, so they knew of who I was as a person. Because even for myself, I'm like, I don't want to be, it's kind of like an awkward thing. It's almost like Survivor. Okay, we're going to vote. Who's going to vote her in? And then wait to send me a list of questions, like on some hip hop shit. Da, 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 da. And I'm like typing all the answers and stuff like that. Because, that it means so much to him who and everybody else who's down and why they're down.
Right.
So I just wanted, at the time, I wanted to make it clear, besides just my skill set, that regardless if I'm rock steady or not, this is me, this is my house, right?
Yes.
This is gonna be me without rock steady or with them. And if that's something that you want, as far as to make the collective even stronger and have greater representation, and then to help me or help mold me into the DJ I eventually became, it was going to happen with Rocksteady or not, just because that I was already set on that path on where I was trying to take my DJing. So, and that this is how I live my life. This is hip hop. I live hip hop culture, and it's got me in trouble, so to speak, because it's like breaking, I feel, has somewhat shifted. Like they're separating from hip hop a little bit. And maybe
can you touch on that too?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you elaborate on that too? Because I sense it, and I feel like breaking and hip hop is splitting off. The people that are true to hip hop, like me and yourself, we're gonna always like dig, further and go. But the people that's involved with the breaking scene, it's kind of like there's a disconnect.
Yeah. There's many different reasons why I think that's happening. Mind you, I don't know your exact age, but I'm gonna assume how old you are and know how old I am.
Yes.
We grew up with just listening to different music, and when you think of breaking now in the competitive scene of it, a lot of the younger heads are going there. That's their goal. I want to do these large competitions, and at these large competitions, they play a certain type of music. So if you're just exposed to that sort of music, and you're not listening to hip hop anymore, and mind you, there's a lot of great hip hop now, like that came out this year or last year, that is very breakable, meaning that you could definitely catch a vibe and break to it. But there's so much out there that people don't want to take the time to look for it. They want to be provided it. So now people are breaking to high BPM, no soul, high breaks, and it's showing in the dance. They're just going straight to power, and rarely are you seeing someone to groove and feel the music.
I know, right?
Dance to it, which I think is different in comparison. Now, at the same token, you have kids that are 5 years old busting crazy moves that people were doing back in the day. So it's kind of but it's just maybe it's the older women in me griping about just the change in music. But I do make it a point when I am spinning at breaking events that I'm playing everything. I'm playing hip hop. I'm playing breaks, original breaks. I'm going into some of the newer stuff. I'm taking people on a musical journey, and I'm still introducing and trying to break songs as well, because you could get complacent as a DJ and just play what everyone's used to, but what are you doing? Like, you're not fully tapping into your role and your responsibility as a DJ by trying to break a song or throwing some shit on that no one's ever heard before. So yeah,
that's Oh man, you broke it down good though. Like I love what you said. Everything was it was on point. I feel the same way too, like just being that we are older, involved with the culture. I kind of wish that it still had that it had that funk like that. When the DJ used to play at the gym, you would hear like Return of the B-Boy, do 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 ah 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 ah, and it just felt like the vibe though. You would look around, you would hear, they would just play like beats to the rhymes, in the battle, and that Run DMC like beats to the rhyme, yo, it was just like it set off an energy that was like it still felt hip hop, but it was still at a high. It was like at a the music was really sped up,
Yeah,
and me being Zulu, I always love the roots to like to everything, because Zulu is the beginning of hip hop,
sure.
you know, and um I'm glad to see that where it's at today. To be honest with you, I like the fact even when I see the girls, like there's a couple of girls that are DJing. I think they're twins. I like to see them DJ, and then you got the girl from Chicago. What's her name? Spinderella.
Spinderella, like from Salt and Pepper Spinderella?
She's a DJ.
Which,
She's from.
because
She's a DJ. She always wears the Kango.
she's young or she's
Yeah,
older?
she's young. She's
Oh,
young.
okay. Okay. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I
I'm
don't think her name is Spinderella though. Yeah, I mean now it's ridiculous. Like as far as I know, so many dope women who spin, and
hmm
now it's almost genre based. I mean, you have a couple like myself who are open format that could spin anything, like, and then you have also great ones that kind of stick to their lane, and and
hmm
and that's the beauty about music. You could stay in one lane and be successful, or you could be in multiple lanes and be successful. Like for myself, I like to be in multiple lanes because I listen to and love all different types of music. Coming from New York and being in that New York dance club scene,
hmm
you're dancing to house music. You're familiar with disco.
Yeah.
You know all these different genres, and for me, being able to guide a room is part of that. Like if I'm
Oh,
seeing
that's the
some
best.
men and women dancing together, I'm like, all right, let me throw us a dance hall real quick and get this little situation
Oh,
started. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And then we could take it to some hip hop, and then we could take it to some house, and then we could take it to some disco. We could take a whole musical journey, and I feel like that's the best part for me when it comes to DJing. Like I'm not going to restrict myself to play one genre of music when people ask me all the time, oh, what do you spin? I'm like, dope music.
hmm
Like, what do you spin? Dope music. Like that, good music. You're probably going to hear it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any goals in 2023 that you're really trying to pursue? Like, what's your goals for this year coming up?
My goal is, or my overall, I guess, umbrella goal, which kind of taps into everything else, is to keep it moving. I always say Kim, keep it moving.
Mm,
Like all of us are just bombarded with daily responsibility and just life.
yeah.
And then too, I'm a mom. My daughter's 2 years old, so there's a lot going on with that to unpackage. But if I keep it moving
hmm
and I keep my integrity in check and making sure that all gigs and partnerships that I do they're aligned with what I believe in, especially when it comes to hip hop, then all the opportunities will fall in its place. And I started really thinking like that last year,
hmm
and already we're on the second day of the month, and I've been getting hit up already, and I'm booking dates all the way through
Oh,
at the end
nice.
of the year. And once that was starting to happen last year, I was like, all right, this is the way to do it, because people just as now hip hop is definitely on a larger global scale with the Olympics and all that stuff coming up. Um, I feel like it's even more important to stand your ground, and as far as how this culture is being represented,
Oh
and
my
not
gosh.
just give way to corporate partnership just for the opportunity or for the
hmm
money. And that's kind of like where I've been standing with that. And then since it's like now things are coming into fruition and falling on my lap, so to speak, because of just staying true to myself and what I'm trying to represent.
Yeah, that's a man. You hit it nice. Question for you too. When you think of the West Coast, even today, like our style of hip hop compared to like Florida and like New York, though, like, what have you noticed the difference between California's like version of hip hop compared to New York or Tampa?
You know what? Like I lived in LA for 7 years.
Okay,
I just moved to back to Florida last year.
all
So
right.
in the 7 years I was in LA, I was living in Koreatown
That's
the
where
whole time.
I
Oh
stay.
yeah?
I'm here right now in Koreatown.
I was near the intersection of Hoover and Wilshire.
I'm over here. I'm on Sixth and oh my gosh, what is the Rampart?
What? We were like neighbors. Holy shit. Yeah. So they built, I mean, now it's not too new, but on Wilshire, on that corner of Wilshire and
Mm-hmm.
Hoover, they built like a new building. And my apartment building was behind that.
Okay.
So yeah, damn, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've been here 6 years though too myself. This year would be 7 years. Well, actually, this year it's 7 years. Next month will be 7 years that I've lived in this area.
Yeah, no, I was there. I was there for 7 years, and in that time, I definitely had a different outlook, or just just my interpretation of what LA was going to be was totally different from what it was. Because coming from New
Oh,
York,
really?
LA, okay. But then when I got there, it was definitely more of a vibe. But then like the hip hop felt like underground roots, kind of, so to speak. Like thanks to like events like Summit and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
people that actually held it, it just had a different, more organic energy to it.
Mm.
You also have so many collectors of music, like vinyl. Like I could go to just a swap meet or just several events like that where I would meet like-minded music lovers and trade and buy music and stuff like that. So that's one thing I really miss, that I'm not really finding out here in comparison. But yeah, and then even going up to the Bay, I would make it out to the Bay
Yes.
area.
Did you
And
go
that's
to
just another.
Amoeba Records?
Yeah, of course. The one on Haight Street in the
Mm-hmm.
Bay, and then the one in Hollywood. I used to go to the one in Hollywood a lot, actually, and the new location that they built. So I was there quite often. But
Yeah.
good memories, good vibes, and I miss it. So I can't wait to go back and visit. And then shout out to Escala, which is actually Escala is on 6. Have you been there?
Oh, really?
It's on 6, and I'll send you the cross street.
Okay.
I think it's Kenmore, 6 and Kenmore. So it's a Korean Colombian fusion restaurant, but the owner is also a DJ, and yeah, he brings people out to DJ, and it's a dope spot. Like I used to walk there, go on a scooter with my backpack in my DJ,
nice.
ride the little Lime scooters from where I was at all the way to 6 and Kenmore, and then DJ 2 o'clock, pack up, and ride my scooter back home. So yeah, like little things like that.
So,
I definitely miss about the West Coast in LA, but definitely a different vibe. Yeah.
So what made you make the move from Los Angeles back to Florida? Like, why did you end up going back?
So as you know, and I'm sure many people that are either familiar with LA or have lived there or visited, that the homeless situation was really crazy, where I was. Yeah. And for a while, I mean, mind you, I love city living. I love being able to walk outside, go to the store, go do what I got to do. I was riding mass transit, probably one of the few people I knew that actually rode the train in LA. But because when I had my daughter, it was the pandemic, and able to go outside with her. I couldn't walk on my block because there was already 2 homeless encampments on both sides of
Yeah.
my street, in either direction. And then after a while, I'm like, well, man, okay, I'm not feeling this. It's like, not only is
Mhm.
it crazy, and all my family's on the East Coast, but now I can't even walk on my damn sidewalk because, homeless encampments. I need to, figure this out. So my
Right.
husband and I, we both loved LA. We loved where we were living and all that stuff. But after a while, we're like, all right, we want to change it up for her. We want her to be closer to family. We don't want her to have to worry about, some dude with his exposing himself in the middle of the street,
I see
which,
it all the time. If you live over here, you see them. I've
yeah, yeah,
seen them walking completely naked,
yeah, yeah. And
just
it
wilding
happened
out.
twice.
Like, yeah, you're right. Just off of Wilshire.
It happened twice on Wilshire. Like, we were walking towards like Western. We were walking towards Western on Wilshire. It's a nice day. And the first guy, fully exposed. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. Then the second guy is taking a dump on the street.
Yeah.
it's like, all right, okay, this is already too much. Like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm
I think
fine.
I think you made a smart decision though too, because I'm kind of feeling that way too myself. I love Los Angeles, but the homelessness is like you cannot beat it. It's like it's almost like every other person on this side of town is like homeless or crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
And so for me, I'm getting that feeling like, yo, I think it is time to make a move for myself because sometimes I don't really feel safe if I just want to take a walk down to the store. There's always tons of homeless people posted up right in front of the store because they know that people have money,
yeah,
and so, yeah, so I salute you on getting out of here. I tell people, yeah, if you can leave LA and you got a child, like that's probably the best environment to raise a child where they don't have to be seeing somebody naked for no reason.
yeah, yeah. Even it was crazy because even when I was going to the hospital to deliver her, there was
Mm-hmm.
a protest on Wilshire because I was going to UCLA. That's where I
Mm-hmm.
had her, and we couldn't even get to UCLA at the time because there was a protest. And then I got out the car, and they see me freaking huge, and they're like, "Okay, let's go." But yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of good memories in Los Angeles, and maybe if I was balling, maybe that'd be a different story. But and then too, most of my family's here on the East Coast, so it just didn't logistically. It was hard for people just to be with her, and I want her to be close to family.
Right, right, right. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kaotic, I just have one more question to ask you because I know that you probably got things to do. For the women that are watching, like particularly them, what advice would you give them, the women that are involved with hip hop today? Like, what would you say for yourself? Like, maybe you can take these steps if you're trying to get to a certain level. Because when I was coming up, I learned the hard way. Nobody ever told me about like financial stability, basically how to brand yourself, networking, staying in connection, like, and then your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
Yeah, all of that. I feel somebody needs to write a book about this because
I
it's
am.
for real. Okay, yeah, you need to get that book out on the shelves ASAP
Yes,
because
I want
there's
to.
there's so many people that are talented that I feel that maybe if they had their brand together, so to speak, that they would be in a different place right now financially.
Hmm.
Um, but it all starts with your integrity and belief of self, right? Because
Yeah.
self-doubt hindered my dance career. And
Mm.
moving forward with DJing, I took a different approach. But then as a woman, making sure that you stand your ground in what you believe in as an individual and have that shine in your brand and
Hmm.
stay true to yourself. I feel that especially as women, we feel that we have an expiration date because of our age. We
Yeah.
are, to be able to juggle a full-time job or motherhood, or if you're responsible for taking care of someone else in general, or just your relationships, that you can't balance living the life as an entertainer, whether that be a DJ, a dancer, MC, anything. Time management is on the top of all that. Like,
Yes.
being able to manage your time efficiently and having time to really work on your craft is key to being successful, and to separating you and what you do from anyone else that just decides to pick up a laptop and turntables. Like, how are you gonna stand out? Like, what makes you you? And once you kind of tap into that and have that grow and flourish, that's when you can worry about branding. And once you start getting those jobs, okay, money management. But it all starts with, who are you? Like, what are you doing as an artist? What are you trying to do? What are you representing? What are you trying to share with the world? What's going to have you stand out from anyone else? And then after all of that, it's like, all right, you got to treat it as a business. You are a business. What you put out there on social media and everything else, that's what people think of you. That's what how they see you. Not too many people know me for real, right? Like, people know Blaze. Oh, Blaze, I don't know Blaze, but obviously this is part of the image I put out there. But the image I put out there is true to myself because I choose it to be. And for me, that's important, and that's what I represent in my brand. And in my brand, I represent truth and knowledge of self, and knowledge and representation of hip hop culture, and especially for women of color like myself. So all those things like rolled up into one.
That's amazing though too. And then too, like what you have mentioned, when you were a B girl and you got hurt, this is what B boys, like, after you get hurt, because I snapped my Achilles tendon and I was out for 1.5 years. And believe me, girl, it was some of the most darkest times in my life, because by the time I got to the year, I thought I was done. But something said, like, you know what, like, keep exercising and keep working it. And I got my leg back. So a lot of times I would share advice to other people too. Like, if you're a B girl, a DJ, like, at least have a stable job. Have something that you can have income coming in, because once you get hurt and breaking is your only income, or DJ is your only income, you're in trouble. And nobody really shares that.
Actually, I'm going to definitely share what you just said. I do have a 9-to-5. Why? Because when I was unable to dance. When you're unable to dance and your income just stops, now you're put into a corner of, like, I got to do this.
You have to.
There's no the fun is drained.
No pausing.
It's drained from it. So for me, it was important to have a steady income, so this continues to be my expressive outlet. Because once that part is taken away, not that the love is gone, but basically the love starts draining, because now you're so focused on making money and doing this, when you're all over the place and your business isn't in order. Once I made the decision as a DJ, like, all right, it's going to take a while for me to be in a place where I can live comfortably off of DJing, right? And I already knew this, right? So what do I have to do in order for myself to get to that point? What dollar amount is comfortable? For me, it could be one amount. For you, it could be another amount. For the next person, it could be something different. It's really sitting down and thinking to yourself, what am I doing? What are my goals? I do this often. I don't wait for the new year to do it. I do it all the time. I do it like once a month. These are the parties and events I want to spin at. For instance, Dante's Hi-Fi. I spin there on Wednesday. I was already plotting this for like 6 months visualizing it, seeing it in my mind that this is a place I'm going to spin. Why? Because it's ran by respected DJs that I admire, one being Rich Medina, another my peers, my DJ peers in this community. It's a venue where only the best spin at. Talking about all vinyl venue that only spins all vinyl. So now you're cutting the population in half on who's going to spin there. You don't spin vinyl, peace. All right, now vinyl DJs, right? And then you have the top of you have the best. So to now have that opportunity to spin there on Wednesday, I'm like, boom, all right, what's the next goal? What's the next event or country I want to go and spin at? Oh. And that's kind of how I think. I keep it moving. Keep Kim, K-I-M. Keep it moving. All right, I'm doing this.
I'm going to use that now.
Yeah. What's going on in February? What are we doing? You got to keep it moving. Like, you got to keep busy. But yeah, it's like, there's several steps for the perfect plan, but it all starts with the belief in yourself and making sure that you're making yourself uncomfortable. It's good to be uncomfortable. It's good to challenge yourself. You don't want to just be, I love it. You don't want to be cruising the whole time. What is that? Like, no. Right? What they say, pressure makes diamonds. Like that's what it is. Like, you got to feel that pressure. You got to get that sweat. You got to get nervous. You care, right? When you care, these are all natural reactions to actually giving a shit. So if you continue to put pressure on yourself, in this healthy pressure, not that negative pressure, but healthy pressure, keep it moving, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to tap into your creativity. And that's basically where it starts. And if you continue to do that, like I said, just opportunities will become or start to unfold, and then you'll find yourself being asked to, yes, Dante's in Miami Wednesday if you're in Miami, or a freestyle, be there. So yeah.
G.I. Joe. Yeah. Thank you. Like, Blaze, you hit it. Like, everything you said it's what I wanted to hear. Like, hearing you talk, like, it inspired me too, because I like the I love the message, and like I wanted to get inspired too, and that's the reason why I reached out to you, because I felt you had a beautiful story that I wanted to hear, because you're new to me, and vice versa. I'm probably new to you too as well, but I felt like, you know what, this girl, she's always been dope when I first seen your representation, so I was like, let me give it a shot, so you're the first female DJ that I've interviewed, and I've done over 200 interviews on Instagram.
Wow. Oh man.
During COVID, I was going ham. I did at least like 160.
Wow. That's amazing.
During COVID. Yeah. So what are you
doing? Are you taking all of just this information and you're putting it towards what you're writing, or are you just archiving this? Like
that's what I want to do. Exactly. I'm taking these videos and I'm saving them, and I'm building up my YouTube channel. So when I drop that book, I can go back and put all these stories together, because I'm getting some amazing stories. I actually got a chance to speak to Kid Nice from the New York City Breakers yesterday.
Wow. See, look at that.
Yeah.
See, there's people, a lot of people that aren't really recognized on a large scale, and like myself too, like a lot of people, Scheme Richards, what is going on here, yo?
I want to speak to you too, brother. Yeah, I like to speak to Scheme though too, because I know he has a lot of history with Philly.
Yeah. Scheme, I've known for a minute, and he could attest to just like, I just always been a fan of his dancing at any event, whether it be a jam or just a club that he's rocking at. And that's the type of energy I've always wanted to provide at anywhere that I'm able to rock at. That same feeling. That's power right there, to have over a crowd, to control the guy and guide a room. That's a very powerful thing. So for me to have been witness to what he's been able to do has helped inspire me to keep that movement going, and keeping that true essence of and why in which all of us artists do what we do. So yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that he was spinning with 45s, though. I thought that was amazing. Just
Yeah.
straight 45s.
I mean, number one, he has the ability to dig all over the world. You know, not too many DJs can dig all over the world, and he's been to so many countries and been able to go to so many record shops and connect with DJs from all over the world. And in that sense of just decades of being able to do that, you best believe he has some shit. But that's part of it. That's part of, you know, our responsibilities as DJs is being able to break records and introduce new music to people. Like
Hmm.
that's part of the reason why we should all strive to do this. It's not just to just play what everybody else is fucking playing. Like you have the ear, right? You're claiming you're a DJ. DJs have the ear, right? You're able to listen to music and be like, all right, this is dope, it's all right, or this is whack, right?
Hmm.
So why not share the dope with people that think they know what dope is?
Hmm.
I'll keep it like that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Blaze. I appreciate your time. I just want to say once again, I salute you. Your story is very inspiring to me, and I hope that the women that watch this, you know, from all over the world, that they can take in some of this advice because these are gems. So, like, man, if I was a female, I'll just be like, oh, did you see that interview? Like,
But why?
this
You could
girl,
be
like,
a
she,
man. You could be a man and listen and be inspired by my words as well. You don't just have to be
me
a female.
too.
But yeah.
Right, me too.
But
But
I
you know
know
what I'm
I get
saying.
it. I get it.
But I'm
Trust
just
what
saying, when women see, like, when a woman sees another woman, she can relate to, like, it. She can relate to you instantly.
yeah. I mean, I remember back in the day first seeing Asia One or Honey Rockwell, like certain or Rockefeller, like all these like first, second generation B girls. I was just like blown away and inspired. So I definitely get that. And
Yeah.
if ever I do have an opportunity, I just keep it real and just be like, look, from my perspective and already just 22, 23 years being involved in hip hop culture in some capacity, like this is just my advice. Like take it or leave it,
Thank
but I
you.
think it's worth listening to, especially if this is something you take seriously and you want to continue to contribute towards the culture.
Yeah, I think that's very true because I know down the line, like this interview will be looked at. Like, 'cause I know I'm just growing my channel, and I just want this to be kind of like the blueprint for like today's information to get like real hip hop culture, not just breaking, but hip hop culture. Because I'm doing the DJs, graffiti writers, anybody that played like they're a pivotal point into hip hop. I'm speaking to them, and I'm getting their stories today because a lot of these people are passing away, and I feel like we got to get their stories. Like, I want to give you your flowers though too. Like, you shouldn't have to wait till you passed away, and then everybody's like, yo, you know, such and such was dope. Like when she was alive or when I was alive, like communicate with us now. Like let us know why we're dope now because when we're gone, that's it. Our story ends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely a very powerful point. You know,
Yeah.
especially the last 4 or 5 years, we've lost
Oh
so
my
many
God.
people in the community, right?
This
And
Marky.
yeah,
I heard
I
his
remember
record collection was crazy. The Biz Markie.
Shabadoo, Bismarck. We just lost Hurricane G. The other day, Gangster Boo, was it yesterday? She's from
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Gangsta Boo.
3-6 Mafia. Like she was young too. You know, like we've lost so many people within our community, um, and it does make you think like, damn, like life
Hmm.
is definitely short, shouldn't be taken for granted. And at least with the hip hop community specifically, yeah, you're right. If we still have people around that are big contributors and you respect them or you admire them or you just feel them and they whether they're dancing or their art or their music has made you smile or dance, you should
Hmm.
share your gratitude for that. I try to do that as much as I can if I see someone that I respect or that their art has touched me in some sort of way. I'm definitely going to give them their flowers because it's important. At least they know
Yeah.
you know how I feel. And then it also works in the reverse too, because let's say there's someone that you respect so much, but you weren't able to share how you feel, and then that person transitions, that stays with you as far as like, man, I wish I was able to tell this person how much they mean to me, or how they made me happy, or how, you know, when I went to their events, I just wanted to catch wreck because they were just the illest DJ I've ever heard. Like that's a beautiful thing to be able to share. So by not sharing it, you're not only hindering just that relationship, but yourself, and being able to actually share that with that person.
Right, and to be able to continue a legacy 20 years from now, another 50 years from now, because hip hop, I think, is going to be around for a while. It's gotten to 50. I'm pretty sure it can reach the 100 mark easy.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, right? Like thinking about words, using words for self-expression, and then the words having it rhyme. Because even when you listen to hip hop in different languages, you feel the energy of that MC expressing what they're expressing, even though you may not really understand a word of. Actually, for instance, in Ukraine, I came across some music from Ukraine, and it was hip hop, and you just hear like the grittiness, the hardness behind it, because look what they're dealing with now. You know, they're dealing with war now. So any country that's dealing with struggle and strife, you best believe they have some sort of hip hop scene, because that's the number one form of expression to
outlet.
Really an outlet, right?
Exactly.
And then it carries on to breaking too. If you look at the breakers that come from that area as well, look at their style. Look at what they're contributing to this dance, because it's next level too. You know, so yeah, hip hop's gonna be for a long time. It's gonna be
Okay, I got one more quick question. Since you're really in the DJ scene, in your opinion, who's taking DJ, like how breaking has went to like the next level? Like for as far as like when it comes to like the DJing, is there anybody particular in your mind that stick out that when they're spinning, you're just like, yo, like they took it to like crazy levels?
You know what? Like, and this is something I've been trying to do myself. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a DJ named Buck Rogers.
No, I never know.
He he also, I mean, there's a couple different DJs that do this, but he actually plays on top of the music with his MPC, with his like beat machine, drum machine.
Okay.
So to me, I think that's just fresh, right? When you're basically creating your own music on top of something live. To me, that's, besides turntablism and and being able to blend and creating new blends and remixes and stuff, which is what I like to do too, live on the spot. But now you're hooking up a separate device to then play on top of, and now you're performing. Not to say that DJing isn't a performance in itself, but now you're actually creating a beat, which is part of the performance as well. So I think now new technology and all these things coming out, that's the route it's heading, at least for top tier DJs, as far as being able to not just switch records out and throw some cuts. Now it's like you're performing, you're actually playing the drums, or you're actually playing multiple instruments along with your set. Yeah. So I think like, what's up,
so
Sean? Big Mom Beat everywhere. I've had some dope DJs chiming in. That's what's up. I think that's like the future. That's definitely where I strive to be, as far as making it a performance where, of course, everybody's partying and dancing and stuff, but now they're gonna be like, oh, like is she just performing a beat? Is she making a beat on the spot? Like that's where I'm trying to be at.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right, Blaze, thank you for the time. I wish you all the success, in the year 2023 and beyond. And it's what you did for me is, I'm very happy. Like I said, you're the first. And believe me, I got a list of DJs. I'm gonna do Sapphire. DJ Sapphire.
Sapphire's dope. Yeah, and that's another
I'm doing her next.
DJ. that's been doing it for a minute. You know, I've been able to work with her as well. We did Summit back in 2018, and she has her own show, The Rewind, which is fresh as well.
Yeah.
Paying homage to true school 90s hip hop.
Mhm.
So yeah, she's doing her thing. I definitely have much love and respect for her too, because she definitely knows what it is to come from the Be
Yeah.
Girl lifestyle and then transitioning to DJing and then killing it in her
Right.
own right too. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be good.
So yeah. So when you see as the year go on and eventually what I do blows up and you could be like, yo, I was the first. Like I was the
Yo,
first.
Psycho Les, what's good? Okay, Psycho Les
That's
beat
Psycho Les from the Beat Nuts.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, he's the
Respect to
homie.
you though, brother. Yeah. Oh, he's the homie?
Yeah, he's the homie. Yeah.
Man, I would love you think it might be possible if I can get him on the live? I'd like to speak to him. Could you
I mean, that's a question. That's a question for Les right there. Yo,
all
Psycho.
right, Psycho Les. Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
he's doing big things too. So he's a good person.
Is he?
Yeah.
I love the Beat Nuts though. Beat Nuts was when I heard Watch Out Now out here in Cali, we was killing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like his production style definitely digs deep, and you can tell he's a music lover. But he's still doing dope shit now, so that could be a move. He's with the
Okay.
Dr. Green Thumb team on Be Real TV, which
Oh,
is
really?
taped in LA. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, man.
All
I
right.
got the plug.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just playing now, but real rock, yeah. It's all about Chaotic Blaze. Boom. Thanks, like. Yeah, man. But
All
we
right,
here
Blaze.
represent hip hop culture. You know the deal.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Have a good rest of the night, and I'll be in touch with you.
All right, yo. Good night. Peace. Happy New
Peace.
Year.
You too. Happy New Year.